Robyn Hood, a show about a young rapper/activist who, along with her masked hip-hop group, fights a battle against the, quote, corrupt elite. Described by executive Troy Reeb as a, quote, dark and gritty take, featuring a heroine challenging the status quo and fighting oppression. Yes, this is indeed a real show. Let's talk about it. The IMDb synopsis reads, follows Robyn Loxley, an anti-authoritarian masked hip-hop band, The Hood, as they call out injustices and fight for freedom and equality in the city of New Nottingham. Given the current state of modern film and television, I feel as if you probably already know exactly what this show is about. And you'd be right. A modern reimagining of the classic Robyn Hood from the mind of visionary director, Director X, proving once again that there's absolutely no need to come up with your own ideas when you can simply retell old stories in whatever way you see fit. This is creativity in its most modern form. Obviously, this is being done time and time again, most recently from the likes of production companies like Disney, retelling their old stories so that they don't have to make new ones and they can profit off of brand recognition. However, this video isn't meant to prey on the rage of fans, but rather to rejoice in what seems to be a collective understanding that this particular retelling of Robyn Hood is utter garbage. Just look at these ratings. There's hardly a hint of reconciliation among these numbers, proving undoubtedly that this show has no silver lining, even among fans who may like this sort of thing. Creator and director of the show, Director X, took to Instagram to share his thoughts on the, quote, review bombing of the show. But before I get into that, I want to briefly talk about the term review bombing. The term gained major prevalence with the release of Amazon's The Rings of Power. Now this may sound like a tangent, but allow me to explain. Essentially, upon the show's release, fans were upset not only by the lack in quality of the show, but the fact that Amazon didn't stay completely true to Tolkien's lore. Given that Tolkien is one of the greatest fantasy writers of all time, and The Lord of the Rings, along with its lore, is one of the most fascinating, universally loved fantasy works of all time, naturally, fans were upset. However, in reading a number of the reviews for the show, it's safe to assume it's not only Tolkien fans who were upset, but simply fans of film and TV, given that the show really just wasn't that good. But I digress. The negative reviews were coming in so fast and so frequently that Amazon briefly halted the ability to leave a review online. They even went so far as to delete one-star reviews, claiming that they weren't real reviews. They were just angry, racist fans who wanted to hurt the show. Articles were coming out left and right about angry, bigoted Tolkien fans, quote, review bombing The Rings of Power. As the show continued, the Access media slowly started to figure out that the show actually was indeed just bad, and the articles began to subside. Now, the reason I bring that up is that amidst all the nonsense and all the negative press and all the negative reviews, the ratings for the show remained above 50%. Now, perhaps this is because of Amazon fudging the numbers, but regardless, it can't be ignored that some people actually liked the show. And that's fine, I guess, more power to them. On Google, it's got a 3.2 out of 5, and IMDb, it sits at 7. And if you read the reviews, some people really did enjoy it. So back to Director X. Director X is claiming that his show is being review bombed by racists. His post reads, quote, from the moment Robyn Hood announced it was going into production, these goons have been making YouTube videos and tweeting about the show, angry that it was a black woman playing Robyn Hood. Then they made more videos when we announced the show's release date, and now that the show is out, they are rating bombing the IMDb page. This is what these people have time to do, end quote. So Director X seems to think that his show is being review bombed. Well, let's examine that claim. A show like Rings of Power, which Amazon considered to be one of the biggest cases of review bombing to ever take place, is sitting at above 50% approval, while Robyn Hood is at a 1 out of 10. Director X's reimagining of Robyn Hood paints a picture of a community of young black people who have to steal to get ahead. Seems kind of racist to me. Portraying scenes of black people lobbing objects at cops after the cops attempt to apprehend a group of teens after breaking the law. Once again, seems like a racist stereotype to me. Stealing from the rich and redistributing wealth as you see fit? I'm not sure any demographic thinks that's a good idea, or is representative of the, quote, fight against oppression. It's also another reimagining, which when looking at the performance of modern reimaginings, they tend to lack creative vision and struggle at the box office. And while a number of modern shows and films feature subtle hints toward a particular ideology, political messaging, identity politics, and things of that nature, Robyn Hood throws it right in your face. The show doesn't even attempt to lead you to your own conclusion on how you should feel about certain racial issues. It simply tells you how you should feel. It shows you how you should feel in an aggressive and preachy manner, leaves no room for nuance, and shoves a message down your throat that in reality is quite complex. Director X can make all the claims he wants about racist and bigoted fans who are out to get him, but the truth is, Robyn Hood is one of the worst shows to ever be aired on TV. It lacks creative vision, it's preachy, and to quote some of his most adamant YouTube critics, it's more woke garbage. I really love making these and I'd like to keep making them, so please subscribe and like the video. If you love this sort of content, consider becoming a member. See you in the next one.